I'd like to have come up now our presenting sponsor, which is Memorial Hermann Northeast, Mr. Noel Cardenas, to give us an update on what's happening at the hospital.
I think they have the presentation up. Does this work? Okay. All right. Just wanted to give a quick update. I know that we've been a lot has happened over the Lake East Committee over the last month or so, but a lot's been going on our campus. So here's a kind of a construction timeline. One of the key things I want to point out: two big structures going on. The new tower on the left, which has a go-live date of the 21st of December of next year, and then we've got a new professional office building, and that you'll actually see some walls going up here pretty quick, and I'll give I'll provide some more information on that a little bit later. Parking, we've got the new employee lot that's completed, and so our next phase on parking is for our physicians, which that lot will be completed in early December, and then we're looking in the future for renovating the rest of our parking lots on the campus. So this is an aerial view. You can kind of see a lot of change. You can see the crane in the background. Here on the bottom of the picture is our new power plant, which will provide energy and the different water and so forth to the new tower going up in the background. Here's the tower. They will actually pour the last level of concrete next week, so we'll have what's called a topping off ceremony on the 26th of October, which will recognize that key event for us. And then also the beaming. We have a beam that will be signed by all the staff and other key leaders, which will be going into the elevator shaft, which is on the far right of the facility that's going up. Our parking lot's complete, as I mentioned. Here again, you can see the tower and the levels of concrete. You can see the metal pieces that are going on there. That's allowing the concrete to cure on each one of those floors. And they've actually, the first floor has cured, which now allows them to go in and put the internal construction with regards to walls and plumbing and so forth. So they're moving pretty quick at that level. Our energy plant, they've are putting the brick all the way around, and they'll actually complete the outer bricklaying next week. And that's the inside view of the energy plant. We've got a professional office building that's going up across the street. They've laid the concrete. But what's really neat about this is it's a tilt wall construction, so as they're allowing that to dry, they're also laying out the walls, and those are actually being done on site, and those will be going up in the next couple of weeks. So actually, in about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll actually see a building out there on that lot. A lot of people have asked about our Kingwood Convenient Care Center. Just like other businesses in Kingwood, we did sustain a significant amount of damage. We actually took in 5 feet of water into that facility, which is in the same location as the HEB, Torchy's, and the other businesses that have set up there. They went in immediately that weekend after the flooding and started to remediate the facility. They've taken out everything out of the first floor. There was no damage sustained on the second floor, but of course the generator in the back, and we were scheduled to open this on the day after Labor Day. Actually, the day the hurricane hit was the ribbon cutting, so we weren't able to do that. So again, they've taken out all the equipment, the MRI, CAT scan, all that's been removed and sold, and so now we're just waiting on new equipment. So we're projecting an opening of this summer of 2018, and as we get that date more solidified, we'll make sure we share that information. In the meantime, we were supposed to move. Our town center facility was also damaged. They took in a little bit over 3 feet, but close to 4 feet of water in that facility. That's where our medical group practice and sports medicine and rehab was located. They were actually scheduled to move into this facility, and then our OBGYN physicians were scheduled to move into the town center. So the decision's been made that the town center, as it's being remediated and rebuilt, will be moving our OBGYN physicians in there. And then we've relocated our primary care physicians, part of the medical group practice, and sports medicine to other locations. So they're currently working either at the physical therapists are working at our Northeast campus at the hospital, and also at the Summer Creek CCC, and then our primary care physicians that were part of the town center are now working in our clinic at Atascocita and at the Summer Creek Community Care Center. So if your physicians were Dr. Shankar and Gia, they're working out at Summer Creek, and Dr. Doe, Hodges, and so forth are working at Atascocita. Do I have it the other way around?
Gia, Hodges, and Shankar are now all the tests.
Okay, so they're all at Atascocita. That's a clinic right off of Westlake Houston. And of course, we all know what's going on with Westlake Houston on the traffic. So the good thing is those appointments are during the day and not during the school hours. So, but if you need any assistance, please let us know. We'll be glad to help you out with that process. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Noel. And again, we just hate to hear those kind of stories, and we know many of you in this room are going through the same thing, but it's also encouraging to hear the plan of action and all the things that are happening to get back in business, and we got a little presentation on that coming up shortly. You know, these Bizcoms don't just happen, and Memorial Hermann is, of course, our presenting sponsor, and which part of the lunch and the other things that have to get paid for come out of the sponsors, and so thank you, Memorial Hermann, for being our presenting sponsor. We also have our gold sponsors, and I think Chick-fil-A Wilson and Beltway 8, Dwayne and Erica Johnston are here. Thank you very much. Pastor Martin, Light of the World Christian Fellowship, and McAlpine Interest in the very back. I do want to recognize some of our elected officials that are here, and by the way, if you're wondering why we don't have a contingency of our school board members, a conference started today in Dallas. And so I'm trying to see if I'd seen anyone come in, but I know that started today, and so they're all headed up there. So they'll be there through Sunday. I believe that's correct. Yep. So, but we have some other folks here. Representing State Representative Dan Huberty's office, Miss Casey Chrisman. Representing Harris County Precinct 4, Commissioner Jack Cagle. Did Clint come in? Clint, there he is, yeah. Clint Klingerman. Maybe it was Toby I didn't see. Did Toby Heckler make it? He had signed up, but Harris County Constable 4, Mark Herman's office. And then who could we forget? Miss Kim Brode with U.S. Congressman Ted Poe's office. From the city of Humble, we have Councilman Norman Funderburg. And the city manager, Mr. Darrell Bosky, who's going to be speaking in just a moment. Did I miss anyone? All right. Well, this is always my favorite part of the Bizcom, and that's to hear all the great things happening here at my alma mater, Humble High School. Great class of 1983. Thank you. And here to tell us about that is the principal, Miss Donna Ulrich, and then I guess you'll introduce Miss Ginger Noyes. Great. Thank you, Donna.
Thanks for being here. It's good to see you all again, and welcome to the 2017-2018 school year. I'll bet we started a little bit late. Humble High School was very lucky with Harvey in that we did not sustain any major damage to our school, and have been in prayer with and conversation and communication with our friends at Kingwood High School and Summer Creek as they have done a great job starting off a difficult school year. Here at Humble High School, we have exceeded our expectations for enrollment a second time. We are about 2,265 students this year. We thought about 2,200 and we've got 65 more so far. We have more enrolling every day, so we're excited about that. That means for us that probably next year we're going to have to move up with the big boys and play 6A football, basketball, and all those other things. So that'll be a fun challenge for next school year. We also this year kicked off our T-STEM Academy. If you had come to Bizcom last year, you know that we wrote a proposal to the state of Texas to become a designated Texas Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics school. And we started with 65 students, mainly freshmen and sophomores, who are learning all about engineering and mainly computer programming in what we call a project-based learning environment. So they do not have a math, science, social studies, and English class per se. Everything is done through projects. and it's been really fun to retrain the minds of 9th and 10th graders who've been very used to working for 45 or 50 minutes at a bell ring. They go to a different class. So it's been fun. Today they're having what we call an unboxing day, and they are playing, learning with Vex robots, laser printers, 3D printers, 3D scanners. They're working on a project about identity and what makes us what we are, and they are going to use all those pieces of technology to express that in a project that'll be culminating in about 4 or 5 weeks. So we're excited about that. If you watch our Twitter feeds, you'll see some of that stuff. The next big exciting thing that's happening is homecoming, which will be, and yes, we are crazy, we knew that a long time ago, the week of Halloween. So if you're going to have fun, you might as well just put it all in 1 week, right? So October 30th to November the 3rd, on Monday, October 30th is our parade. We're going to use the same parade route we did last year. Thank you very much to the city of Humble. We start at Octavia Fields Library and weave back around, back over here by the neighborhood and through Waffle House and end up here at Humble High School. We will have a community pep rally at Humble High School on Monday night. We have food trucks and bouncy houses, and KSBJ is going to sponsor a DJ for us, so we invite the whole community to come. We've invited our entire feeder pattern of elementary schools and middle schools to participate in that parade. Tuesday is Halloween, so there will be dress-up stuff that goes with homecoming and Halloween. The game is Thursday night this year and not Friday night. So we have a game on Thursday night, and on Friday night is our homecoming dance. So the kids are busy, student council is busy preparing for that, and they're excited about that. Because again, Halloween with homecoming gets them more excited about dressing up at school. So that'll be fun for us. So that's pretty much an overview of what's been going on here at Humble High School. I want to introduce Ginger so that she can, I don't take all of her time talking, she can tell you about class. So thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. You are sitting in the LGI for Quest Protocol High School. Humble High School graciously has allotted us this space and the hallways on either side of this space. We're using classrooms she wishes she had, but we're using them wisely. So the challenges, the Harvey challenges that we face is our students, of our 430, about half of those are at the college at any part of the day, every day of the week, except there is no college, except for one building or 2 buildings, so Lone Star and Kingwood. So all 430 of those students are here, and they have done very, very well with adjusting to the fact that they're not leaving our, they're still under our thumb here, and so they don't quite have the freedom that they're accustomed to. But we have been very fortunate with Lone Star that they've worked very, very hard with us to provide them with probably 6 or 7 college professors that come to this campus to instruct our students, and the rest of the classes that our students need for graduation are online classes through the college. So that's a challenge for us because that's a very different type of learning. So it's a good experience for the kids, but their parents, that'd be my assistant principal and I, were the parents that were very important about their online learning. And you're on the computer all the time to make that happen, and sometimes we don't see that. So I know there are some people in the room that are partners with us in our service program, so I want to say thank you for that. Our students go out every Friday into the community and have for more than 20 years to assist create partnerships with community members, with other schools in our district, and without you guys, that program would not be possible. So we are up and rolling and very happy to be here, and invite you to visit anytime you have an opportunity to do so. Thank you.
Thank you both, and it's exciting to hear all the things that are happening here. As I mentioned, these Bizcoms don't just happen, and a lot of planning goes into getting our speakers and having it all set up. And so from the chamber, our main contact is Johnston Farrow. Johnston, thank you for all you do. And then I'd like to ask the members of the advisory committee if y'all would please stand and be recognized on the Bizcom advisory committee. Great. Thank you for all you do. It's amazing how it all comes together, but wouldn't happen without these folks. So, thank you, Nancy. Well, our first speaker is going to tell us all the great things happening around Humble and some of the hard work that's been going on since Harvey. Please help me welcome City Manager Mr. Darrell Bosky.
Advisory. I always thought this was like a sentence. Donna, good news. The council said yes to the homecoming parade. One small change. Instead of the library, could we use the north driveway of our senior activity center? And we'll line them up into the overflow parking so there'll be actually more room than you had at the library. And that's because we have a FEMA office in that location now, so it would prevent people from being able to get in and out. So I just wanted to cover that. Well, as everyone knows, we had old Harvey, and Harvey wasn't very kind to us. In the city, we had 192 homes flooded. About 175 of those had more than 4 foot of water, so that tells you. The water was all the way up to the ring road on the north side of Macy's. That's hard to imagine. I mean, I was here in the 94 flood. I'd just come to work for the city, Labor Day 94, and then we had the flood, and I thought, well, that'll never happen again. That's one of those 500-year floods. Sure happens quick, doesn't it? 20 years later. And we had 43 businesses. If anyone understands our particular economy, certainly not in light of any of the homes, because those are all our friends and our citizens that we love and cherish. The businesses are the lifeblood of Humble. That's what keeps our taxes the lowest in Harris County. But I will say this, the good news is of those 43, 90% of them all said they're going to be open before Black Friday. So we couldn't be happier, and people like Home Depot, it only took them 2 days to be back. They took preventive measures in the beginning. They just did a model job. Most of our restaurants are back online there, so please come back to Humble and eat. They've all been cleaned up. They've all been remodeled. It's all brand new stuff. And according to the rumors, Bed Bath & Beyond is not coming back. I just want to tell you that's an absolute falsity. I don't know who started that. That is not true. I went in there, talked to the person myself, and he said, actually, this is kind of a blessing in disguise because it was one of our older models of stores, and we were going to redo it anyway. He said, so now we're going to get paid to do it. So yay, Bed Bath & Beyond. Unlike most cities, we have 85% of our debris already picked up. We're on the second pass. We have some yards that have already been raked and getting ready to be resodded. So we're way ahead of the game. The mayor went to a meeting last week. Was it, Norman? Maybe a week before. And there's a lot of areas that have not even started the debris pickup, and we've already made a first pass and a second pass, and we're almost through with that. So we're very pleased with that. Of course, we've had a couple of hurricanes, so we had experience. Our Bender Phase 2, which was north of 1st Street, our 2nd Avenue through 7th Avenue and A through H, we're about 2 to 3 weeks from having that totally completed, so our entire downtown area will have been curbed, concreted, new water lines and sewer lines, so we've totally rehabbed the inner working city of Humble. In about maybe the first week of November, the West Townsend north-south segment actually will begin construction. We've had the contracts, we've opened the bids, we've selected the contractor, and so that will be forthcoming. I don't think there would be a very, very minimal disruption because most of the work will be in that center section and on the west side of that easement. So it shouldn't affect the roadway other than a little bit of truck traffic here and there, but we don't have to close that segment to get it done. I know we have a list of great events, and I was going to review those with Norma. Norma, I didn't. Would you like to?
In between now and the end of the year, we've got a lot going on with Charles Bender. And by now, all of you should have been to an event. Charles Bender, show of hands, all of you that have.
All right.
Okay, that's pretty good. But there's something on here for everybody. So, mark your calendars. I'll just go through it quickly. October 14th, City of Louisville will sponsor a movie night with a showing of Lion King. October 27th through November the 5th, the Christian Youth Theater will have performances of Shrek. December 1st, the Dance at Art Studio will have Dancing Holiday Magic. I think that's December 2nd, Profusion Performing Arts, performance of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. December 8th and 9th, the Planning School for Artists will have a performance of Polar Express. December 16th, and all of you need to be at this holiday concert. This is the same group that we had last year, Houston Choral Showcase. They were outstanding. It was so much fun. December 16th, holiday concert. That's also sponsored by the City of Humble. And then last but not least, this is a really big deal. We want all of you to be there. I'm talking about our Christmas parade down historic Main Street, Tuesday, December the 5th, 6:30. We really try to reach out to all the schools. We'd like to see the marching bands, representatives from different schools on both sides of the river. But we'd like for all of you to come. If you want to sign up and be a part of it, inform, they're on the city's website. It's so much fun, and the theme this year is A Star Spangled for Christmas. So, guaranteed fun.
All right. Just one last note. I'm going to retire in December after 23 years with the city. And I had a lot of boxes to check off, and so here was the last box that I couldn't have that much persuasion over. It was just the box that in the beginning I got handed to me from Mayor Donnie McManus, and that was the sale of our hospital. Now I want to tell you that Roy Hernsberger and the people that sit on that committee, and Norman Funderburg sat on it for a long time until he became council person. They all did a great job, and I just want to say, I know I took a lot of negative hits on this one about, oh, they're going to leave town, oh, and what's going to happen to the hospital. I just want to tell you, I couldn't be more proud. Noel, Josh, Tricia, wow. We're so happy with you guys. Thank you. And I hope I never have to visit. See y'all.
Thank you, Darrell. You kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to save it till you left to just tell you all, if you had not heard, he was retiring, and almost 25 years of service to the city of Humble, and that seat will be missed. That's going to be a hard seat to fill, Darrell. You have just been outstanding. You've been a friend, a mentor, and what you do for this community and the citizens of this community. We just can't thank you enough. So let's give him a round of applause one more time. And shame on you if you have not been to the Bender Performing Arts Center yet. At 353, 4 or 5 seats, something like that, around 350. Not a bad seat in the house. The sound is outstanding in there. So you want a close, intimate view of a performance. Just great venue. You know, make it an evening. Have support one of the restaurants locally downtown of your choice, and then go see the performance, or vice versa, see the performance and then go have dinner. It's a great night out. Next we have Miss Patricia Witt, private sector specialist from FEMA.
Thank you to the Chamber for inviting us. And we are in the room. Some of us are wearing plain clothes. That's okay. I'm wearing my FEMA shirt today. I've been asked to share my time with the Small Business Administration, which is what I will do. But, If you are a person and you like numbers, I'm going to say only two. I won't wear you down, but I read in a report this morning that Harvey-related disaster matters added up to $2.9 billion and 855,000 registrations. I've been with FEMA for a decade, and I think I've only experienced maybe 250,000. So this is really big, and we have more time. So there are so many moving parts to FEMA, you know, historic preservation, individual assistance, public assistance, mitigation, disaster assistance teams, IMAT. Well, I'm part of the External Affairs Division, and I make up private sector. And I'm exactly where I want to be today, among people who represent businesses and who are in the know in the community. And what I do when I come on mission is to engage with you. I first start with the Chamber of Commerce, and I try to network with them and partner with them for information streams. And any information that you may need, usually they will work with us and publish it. So that relationship will still be the same here. Also, I get into the schools, and I work with the schools, and I also work with small and large businesses and trade associations. And it's important that I get the word out. Registration covers you. It covers your families if they have been affected. So registration is still taking part. There are several ways to do it. For all of us who love our mobile phones, we encourage you to download the FEMA mobile app. You can register by mobile phone. You can check on your claim. You can find out where disaster recovery centers are located. That's the next thing. We have a total of 48 DRCs, as we like to call them, and they are all over the counties, all of the impacted counties or designated counties, and we have 18 here in the city of Houston. That's a lot, and I'm sure there is one near you. Even though businesses, of course, if you have damages, we invite you to sign up with the Small Business Administration for a disaster loan. And for your family and friends and workers, we encourage you to sign up with FEMA, and that's a grant. You don't have to pay that back. Of course, that can cover rental assistance, home repairs, any other disaster-related matters that your insurance company may have not covered. I just don't want anybody to take this lightly, because a lot of people will take time and try to self-qualify and say, oh, you know, my neighbor got a lot of water, or my coworker got a lot of water and I just lost my car. I don't want you to do that. I want you to encourage your family members to register with FEMA, because once the registration process closes, that opportunity is lost. And I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip anything. And if there's a company here today, or a business owner, I should say, a business owner here today, I will be in the back or out there hanging around with some of my other coworkers for you to ask more personal questions or something that you would need to know. We will be available for that. In terms of your employees, if they were not able to return to work, the Texas Workforce Commission is providing disaster unemployment. It's not the same as regular unemployment, and that deadline is October 31st. So I'm going to step aside, I'll be around, and I'm going to ask Michael Flores with SBA to come.
All right, well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. For those of you that saw me sneak in the side, I was a little late. I had a bad breakup with the GPS. So we had a break. She recalculated one too many times, and that was it. So my role, I work with Pat. We worked together for a number of years. I'm a federal public information officer for the Small Business Administration. So even though the name says Small Business Administration, we help businesses, homeowners, renters, and private nonprofits as well. So when we talk about the totality of this disaster, it was catastrophic. I mean, there's no way around that. This was a catastrophic event, but we'll get through it and we'll recover. You know, I've been through 51 disasters, so I have a good sense of where we're at now and where we're going to end up. So as Pat said, I'll echo something, but I'll say it in a different way, and that's don't stand in your own way. Meaning if there's information that you need, or a friend or relative or a business owner, encourage them not to stand in their own way. Reach out and get that information, because that's how we're going to get through this, sharing information. So now let me share a little information with you. When we talk about the numbers, let's talk about just SBA numbers. We've approved $823 million in low-interest disaster loans in just a little over 4.5 weeks. 69 million of that has gone to businesses, and the rest has gone to homeowners and renters. So the trajectory of this, as we look at this, we'll be into the billions when this is all said and done. And that's a great thing because it's saying that people are getting the help that they need. But it's going to take all of us to chime in to recover. You know, I've seen the work that's being done across Texas, across all the centers. SBA is in every center that FEMA's in. We're federal partners. So we're moving in the right direction. I just want to make sure everybody sees that. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but we're absolutely moving in the right direction. I see it, I know it from everything that I've seen in previous disasters. So now let's talk about how does someone receive assistance from the Small Business Administration? We try to keep it simple. Basically, it's like a car loan or an application. It's about a 5 or 6 page application. You can go into a center that Pat spoke of, and you can sit down with someone one-on-one and complete an application. And it may take you about 30 minutes. It depends right in there. You know, if you don't have all the information, give us what you have and we'll work with you to gather the rest. The other thing, you can also apply online at sba.gov/disaster. Again, that's sba.gov/disaster. You'll look for the disaster assistance link, click on that, and complete a loan application right there. As Pat spoke of, as she mentioned, FEMA does grants, SBA does low-interest loans. So that's a distinction that people need to make very clear, because a lot of times people hear federal assistance and they think it's all one pot. So we separate it out just, you know, in those two ways. You won't have to repay the FEMA assistance, but you will have to repay the SBA disaster loan. Some of the numbers that we're looking at, if you're a homeowner, it's up to $200,000 plus $40,000 for contents. If you're a renter, it's up to $40,000 that you can be approved for. If you're a business or a private nonprofit or church, it's up to $2 million. Now, we split that up in a few different ways. So if you're a business owner, think of it this way. If you had physical damage, we can go up to $2 million. Not saying you have to take the full $2 million, but it's an option for you. The other is what's called a working capital. It's an economic injury disaster loan, which is a working capital loan. So what does that mean in non-government speak? It means if your business was impacted by the floodwaters, let's say a road's washed out, people can't frequent your business, well, then you're impacted economically. So then we can provide a working capital loan to inject you with funds to keep you afloat. But it has to be as a direct result of the storm. So it can't be that the business was doing poorly before, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know, a little help. No, we've got to be able to tie it to the storm, and we need some rationale for that. So we'll ask you to give us some documentation, give us some information on that. So again, $200,000 for homeowners, $40,000 for renters, personal property, and $2 million for businesses and private nonprofits. You can apply to Disaster Recovery Center, you can apply online, or you can call us, and let me give you a number. It's 1-800-659-2955. Again, that's 1-800-659-2955. So it's straightforward, it's simple. If you ever need assistance, you can go to Recovery Center or call us and we'll be there to help. The terms are up to 30 years, as an example, and let me throw some numbers out that may help put this into perspective. So if you're a homeowner, we're looking at 1.75% on that loan. If you're a business owner, 3.3%. And if you're a private nonprofit, I'm getting the hook. Private nonprofit, we're looking at, just kidding. Private nonprofit, you're looking at 2.5%. So I just want to give you kind of a broad overview of what we're doing. We'll be here to the